Welcome back, everyone. We're going to be doing another comparison today, just in general, not even a speed comparison or anything. We're just going to be talking about the iPhone SE2 and how it compares to the Samsung Galaxy S8. Now, you might think this is a random comparison, and honestly, it kind of is, but the Galaxy S8 was an extremely popular phone. It's still, every time I talk about it, a ton of people watch those videos, so it means that this phone is still, a lot of people are interested in it. And the iPhone SE2 has a lot of interest with it as well. It's a new phone, it's a budget phone from Apple, and these type of things always get a ton of hype from them too. So for sure, what I'll tell you is when it comes down to both of them, for sure, the iPhone SE2 might probably be the better deal. The iPhone SE2 is going to be lasting longer. The Galaxy S8 is already unsupported. It's getting software updates here and there, I guess, but not like full UI changes and anything like that. So with the iPhone SE2, for sure, I'll go ahead and start there. This one has the 4.7-inch Retina IPS panel. It's an IPS, it's not an OLED, but it's really not that bad. It's still a pretty good looking panel at the end of the day. It has True Tone on it, which is really cool. It's 750 by 1334, so it's not like a horribly bad panel, but it could have been a little bit better. I think Apple could have probably pushed it to be a little bit better here and there, but the viewing angles are pretty good. It's something about every time I open up a brand new iPhone, the screen looks really good the first couple months, and then for some reason it doesn't look good, but it's totally in my head because it's an IPS panel. It's not like it has burn-in or anything. So for sure, this panel looks really good. Anything I've done with it, whenever I compared it, it's pretty good for a brand new budget phone for $400. But then you look at what Galaxy is doing, what Samsung's doing with their Galaxy A series, and they're able to put a pretty good panels on their phones, like with the A51. That has a very little bezel on it, with just a whole bunch of display, and that thing looks really good, and it looks much better than this thing with the amount of bezel this thing has on it. But it is what it is. This thing hopefully is the last version of phone we'll see like that looks like this from Apple, but for that, in that case, that pretty much covers this phone. Whereas on the Samsung Galaxy S8, first of all, this phone came out in 2017, keep that in mind, but this thing has a 5.8-inch Super AMOLED display. So that's so weird. It's 1440p, and it's a very good looking panel, honestly. Now, my specific panel has a lot of burn-in on it. It doesn't look good at all. If you guys can see, if I open up like the Play Store, for example, as you can see, it has so much bezel, it has so much burn-in on it, which is insane. But it's still okay for the most part. The display, if it was brand new, would look really good. I have a lot of displays that look like that, and I've owned a lot of like 1080p and even 1440p AMOLED displays from Samsung, and they all look really good with the Galaxy S7. Even the Galaxy S6 panel looks really good, and this is no exception. You have very little bezel around the whole entire display of the phone. It looks really good. You have a little bit of a chin, a little bit of the top, but it doesn't look that bad at all. And the viewing angles are great. It doesn't have any like True Tone or anything, but it doesn't matter because it's already an OLED and it already looks really good. So what I can tell you is that display-wise, the Samsung Galaxy S8 definitely wins by a landslide for sure. Now in terms of the size, they're not really too different in size. Like if I'm holding them like this, yeah, the iPhone SE2 is definitely smaller, but like I wouldn't necessarily think one is crazy bigger than the other one. Like when I put them side by side, you can kind of see that, yeah, the iPhone SE2 is a little bit smaller in terms of length, but they're both kind of the same width, so there's really not too much of a difference there, which I know is kind of a pro for the iPhone SE2 and the Galaxy S8. On the bottom, lightning port on the SE2, USB Type-C, as well as a headphone jack on the Galaxy S8, which is extremely cool. And on the back, glass backs on both, single camera setups as well, fingerprint sensor up top on the S8, where the iPhone SE2 is on the front. And both have wireless charging, which is really cool. And in terms of the way they feel and everything, like I stated, one doesn't feel more premium than the other one. Definitely, like, maybe I like the glass on the back of the SE2 a little bit more, but that's kind of nitpicky. They're both almost exactly the same. The SE2 feels a little bit heavier though, which is kind of weird. Now the SE2 doesn't have any microSD card slots or anything, but the Galaxy S8 does, which is a really cool thing, for phones like this to have a microSD card slot is really cool, and hopefully no one takes that away from these phone series. The S20 still has it, so hopefully the S30 and S50 will still have them too. They both have IP certification as well. The Galaxy S8 has IP68 dust and water resistance, where the SE2 has IP67 dust and water resistance, so kind of keep that in mind. And what's funny is both of these phones' design kind of came out in 2017 because this kind of re-embodied the iPhone 8 series, and the iPhone 8 came out in 2017, so it's kind of funny. These are kind of like, kind of similar in a lot of ways, but not really. So in terms of the outside, that really pretty much covers it. Now I'll go and hit on the software, but this is going to be pretty easy. The iPhone SE2 is going to be lasting much longer than the Galaxy S8. This phone is already unsupported, it's like it's stuck on Android 9, which really sucks because I think it could have handled probably even Android 11 at this point, but it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. And even custom ROMing this phone isn't even that easy. You have to go and be on the Exynos version, and even that, there's already a small development community behind it, so you're pretty much out of luck. I tried to custom ROM this phone, but I couldn't because this is the Snapdragon version. Whereas on the SE2, it's starting off with iOS 13. It's going to be getting multiple versions of software, which is going to be extremely cool. So you can pick up this phone now and literally have it for many years from now, not even worry about it. So definitely when it comes down to it in terms of software, the Galaxy S8 just will not be able to compete with the iPhone SE2 for sure. So in terms of software, the iPhone SE definitely wins. Now we'll go ahead and hit on the speed a little bit. I'll do a little bit of speed comparison, not a full one, but just like a brief one. But I'll go and tell you the specs first. The Samsung Galaxy S8 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 chipset, an octa-core CPU, an Adreno 540 GPU, and 4 gigs of RAM. There was only ever one model of this phone, where the iPhone SE2 has that Apple A13 Bionic chip, hex-core CPU, and 3 gigs of RAM on all the models of this phone. So let's go and see which one is the faster one between these two. Okay, now that we're back, let me go ahead and clear out all the apps in here, and of course the SE2 has all of them open. Let's see what this one's about. Okay, let's go and start loading some of these apps up. I don't know why that just opened. Let's do Twitter. I don't even know which apps I have. Twitter, 3, 2, 1. I think the SE2 was faster, but the Galaxy S8 was a little bit behind it. Facebook, 3, 2, 1. SE2 definitely faster, followed by the Galaxy S8. Stack, 3, 2, 1. And the SE2 was faster, I think, to load into it. Of course, we had an ad that came up on the Galaxy S8 a little bit after, but definitely have to still say the SE2 was faster there. Snake vs. Blocks, 3, 2, 1. And I'll probably say the SE2 was the faster one there. Let's get into some gameplay and see what the differences are. And I don't think there's going to be that many differences between them. It's a pretty basic game at the end of the day. We can do Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. And even just the opening of the app was so glitchy on the Galaxy S8 compared to the SE2. And we've been loaded on the SE2, and eventually we do get into it on the S8, which, that was a pretty big difference there. Let's do Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And as you can see, the SE2 is just flowing by, and we're already loaded on the SE2. And then we're eventually loaded on the Galaxy S8, and that was a pretty big difference there too. That was some difference. We can go and load up Real Racing 3, but I think we're going to run into an error, and we have to download it on the S8. 3, 2, 1. I could be wrong though. And even look at the little thing, man. Even when as soon as I clicked it, it took that long. Now we do have to download it here, so we'll just let that one slide. That one was kind of weird anyway. That was even a huge difference to load it up, which was pretty crazy. Netflix, 3, 2, 1. Faster on the SE2. Still loading on the S8, and for some reason it takes a long time on the Android phone, so we'll just let that one slide too. I don't know why that keeps happening. And we'll go and end it off with Paper IO 2. 3, 2, 1. And they both kind of start at the same time, but I'll go ahead and show you some gameplay of it because it'll probably show an even bigger difference. Not really. I think they've kind of fixed their game now, because before it was like really good glitchy, but now it's like kind of good now. So okay, yeah, gameplay pretty much the same on those. And honestly, to kind of sum up the speed comparison, I think the SE2 was probably the faster one every single time. I mean, the S8 was noticeably behind it, and even when you loaded up the apps, it was a pretty glitchy experience too. So hopefully Android and Samsung can fix that eventually, because even the S20 still experiences that. But I'll do a separate speed comparison if you guys want to see it. I don't think you guys really want to see a full one though. The SE2 was just going to be beating the S8 every time. But I'll do a separate camera test as well, but I'll briefly hit on them in this video. They both have single camera setups, and they're both 12 megapixel wide angle lenses on each of these cameras. So one is not like a crazy more better camera in terms of the camera features or anything. Important thing to keep in mind though, the Galaxy S8 can only shoot 4K at 30 frames, where the iPhone SE2 can shoot 4K at 60. So that's a pretty big difference there. I mean, whether you're into it or not, it's still a really cool thing to have the capability of shooting 4K at 30 and 4K at 60. And in terms of the quality, I mean, I still think the video quality and camera quality are better on the iPhone SE2. I think the S8 has pretty good video and camera quality still, but I still would probably end up siding with the SE2 for having the better camera and video quality at the end of the day. So in terms of the back camera, I'd probably end up siding with the SE2. And on the front camera, 7 megapixel sensor on the SE2, 8 megapixel sensor on the S8, and even here I'd probably end up siding with the iPhone SE2. I think that phone has a better camera on the front as well. I think the S8 is still okay, but I would probably still say that the iPhone SE2 has a better camera sensor there. Now ending it off with the battery life, they both have, kind of different sized batteries. The S8 has a 3000 mAh battery, the SE2 has a 1821 mAh battery. Now here's the important thing to keep in mind. My S8's battery life is really not even that great, but I think it's still better than the SE2's. But this is a pretty old phone. It's not like extremely old, but the battery has degraded quite a bit on the S8. The SE2 is brand new, so I kind of just dropped it. So you're comparing like a brand new phone to an older phone, and because of that, batteries inside are different. So if this was brand new, the 3000, it was probably, better than the SE2s. But as of right now, I think it's pretty close. But even then, I think the iPhone SE2's battery life is probably a little bit better than my current owned Galaxy S8. Of course, yours might be a little bit different if you bought it brand new, but that's pretty much how it's sum up that. And to kind of sum up the whole video, man, I mean, should you pick up the SE2? Should you keep your S8? Obviously, if you have, even not even all the money, I would still pick up the SE2. You can pick these ones for not even that expensive, but it's unsupported, it's a little older, it's noticeably slower, the camera's not as good, and the SE2 is definitely, I think, the better way to go between these two. Of course, the S8 is still a good phone, and I still like it a lot, but between these two, I would probably end up siding with the SE2 for sure at the end of the day. So that really pretty much covers it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that means so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate it if you guys would check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.